former senior advisor to the Trump campaign, Lara Trump. All right, before I get to this, I have a lot of friends in North Carolina. I mean, a lot of friends. You were born and raised in North Carolina. Now, your name keeps coming up as a potential Senate candidate for this seat that is now open for 2022. Are you considering possibly running?
Yeah, well, I absolutely am. And look, North Carolina is not just my home state, it's my home. It's where all my family lives. It's really the state that made me the woman I am today. And nothing would be a bigger honor for me than to represent the people of my home and of my home state. And it's something I'm taking really seriously, Sean. You know, I get asked about it a lot, and I've really been so flattered by so many of these polls that have come out. But really, we've been through a lot as a family over the past, not just year, but really past 5 years. So I think really we're kind of taking a step back, really assessing things, taking it very seriously. But, you know, I'm taking a little time to spend with my kids, with my husband, and I will make a decision on it. But I certainly am considering it. And again, nothing would be a greater honor for me than to represent the people of my home state.
All right, I am doing my job, but you know what? It's a thoughtful answer. You know, there were a lot of I believers out there. We watched Justice Kavanaugh broken on national television, pretty much broken. That's how I would describe it. And we know that there were charges and allegations made. I said at the time that I believe in due process and the presumption of innocence. I believe that today, and that applies to Democrats. That applies to Andrew Cuomo. But all the I believers are what I call the I believer caucus. It was led by Kamala Harris. And the silence is now deafening for most of those people. A few have kind of been shamed into coming out. Maybe a few are sincere and are consistent, but not the majority. Let's talk about this double standard and what they did to Kavanaugh. And then look at what happened in the case of the allegations of Julie Swetnick, against Kavanaugh, and they became debunked pretty quick, but yet his family was dragged through hell.
Yeah, well, it was an absolutely disgusting thing to see. And by the way, I agree with you. I believe in due process. I believe that in America, it states that people are innocent until proven guilty, and we should let Governor Andrew Cuomo, of course, have his day in court. Let's let this all play out. But with that said, I'm old enough to remember, Sean, when Kamala Harris herself called for an FBI investigation against Brett Kavanaugh, and the charges against him were not nearly as credible as these charges against Andrew Cuomo. At least they were, the Cuomo allegations are in the same past couple decades. But really, I think it's been sort of obvious to people to watch this happen, and we shouldn't be surprised, because after all, it was Kamala Harris herself who, after calling Joe Biden a racist on stage, had no problem turning back around a couple of months later and being his running mate and now vice president of the United States to him. But she, when she was questioned about that, said, well, it's just all politics. This is all politics for these people. They don't really care about Americans. In fact, one of the women who has accused Governor Cuomo, I think, worked on the Biden-Harris campaign. They don't care about her. You said it in your open. It is all about power for these people. But it was disgusting to see the way Brett Kavanaugh was treated. Every single person in America should have their day in court, should have due process. And look, we'll see what happens with Governor Cuomo.
It's sad because it's such an important, real issue, and it's only used as a political weapon to bludgeon political opponents, which it's sad to see this. Cuomo himself, though, was an I believer. Cuomo said, I believe. Cuomo wanted, at the time, Brett Kavanaugh to take a lie detector test. Shouldn't the same standards that he applied to Kavanaugh apply to him?
Well, if he himself said it, I don't know why he would have a problem doing that. But this is the problem whenever you make a blanket statement like believe all women. It doesn't give the space for, again, due process. It doesn't give any credibility to anybody at all whenever they say, wait a minute, this didn't really happen. Well, we should let a process play out. But it's really, I think it's really kind of, it's sad to see the way it's all turned back around on people. But when you say things like believe all women, and then women come after you, or women come after people in your own party, and you are silent on it, shame on you. That should never happen in the United States of America.
All right, Lara Trump, big news for you tonight, and I'm sure the people of North Carolina, the ones who are asking me, I got you your answer. Got that off my chest. All right, thank you.